Lisa got angry, showed her two little sharp teeth. The bars came right down on her, and the boy, Ola, was still working out how to get out through the gate so that he wouldn't find out who she was. She quietly put the bars back up again and told Ola that the railings were loose. She had no strength. She told him to come and try. Ola believed Lisa. He climbed up, but before he could exert himself, he pulled the two railings down. Ola looked at Lisa with a look of disbelief. Lisa complimented him on how strong he was. The two of them escaped from the cell, running through the night streets. But at a corner, Lisa saw ahead. A squad of men with red scarves were being questioned, and the woman at the head of the group. It was the Van Helsing woman who had come to the house earlier. Lisa couldn't stay any longer. She had to get back to the ship, but the boy couldn't let go. He held Lisa tightly in his arms. He hoped he would see her again tomorrow. They agreed to meet again in the library. For the first time, she felt the warmth of a human body. Just as she was intoxicated, her hand glowed again. She slowly lifted her hand. This time she saw herself against the stone she had seen before, and pressed her hand down. Then an ancient gate was opened. Lisa used the light from her hand to illuminate the path. Carefully she went inside. She saw a knot hanging from a stone not far away. A feeling of antiquity came over her. She unconsciously put her hand over it. When she touched the knot, she had crossed to the sea. Lisa saw the little ones she knew all around her. She also saw her mother and father coming towards her. They held her tightly in their arms. It was a warmth Lisa had never known before. The image came back to life. Tears streamed from the corners of Lisa's eyes. If the elders of the Dark Ones found out about this, it would be an earth-shattering event. For the Dark Ones have never had tears, much less from their eyes. Lisa touched her cheek. She felt panic again. She ran out of the alleyway. But when Lisa reached the shore, she found the Grand Elder on the boat was doing a head count. It turned out that the administrator of the human town had found the Grand Master. There was an agreement between them. He allowed the Dark Ones to stop by the shore, but not to harm the townspeople. But a waitress had been killed in the town. There were teeth marks on her neck. Apparently, the Dark Ones had sucked the liquid out of her. When the Grand Master saw the evidence, had to believe that someone had run ashore from the ship. But what they didn't know was that Batgirl was responsible for all of this. Carter suddenly appeared at Lisa's side. With a cold face, he told Lisa from the side of the boat they could pass quietly. By now all the men on the boat were standing in line. George still had no sign of Lisa. His heart began to worry. Just then, Carter swaggered onto the boat, attracting the attention of everyone, and Lisa took the opportunity to blend in with the crowd. Carter looked at Lisa and smiled. He was picked up. He was taken into the cabin and put in a cage. Then the teacher came in with the suitcase. The teacher took out a wooden cross, aimed at Carter. Seeing this, Carter rushed to recite, learning the language of sanctification in class. Carter's sanctification was successful. He was no longer afraid of the wooden cross. But then the teacher pulled out a silver cross. This scared Carter. He could not yet withstand the power of the silver cross. The teacher questioned Carter. Did he bite someone? Carter denied it. Just as the teacher was about to punish him further, the elder woman came in, shouting at the teacher. How could he do this to Carter? She then took him to the Grand Elder's house. The elder used a ruler to measure the distance between the two teeth on the paper. Then he asked Carter to open his mouth again. He compared them with the ruler. The distance between Carter's two teeth was not the same as the paper. Carter was also cleared of suspicion. And just as Lisa entered the cabin, Lena, the wolf girl, came in. She kept asking where Lisa had gone. Why didn't she take her with her? When Lena pressed her, Lisa told her the secret of her trip to shore. But when she was about to say something else, George pulled her over with him, and a look of resignation crossed Lena's face. George had guessed that Lisa had sneaked ashore. He rushed to ask Lisa if she had bitten anyone, for there was a rule in the Dark Ones. Before the age of 18, if she attacked a human, then she will disappear into the darkness. She would become a terrible dark girl. After being questioned by her father, Lisa said, I didn't bite him. It was just a hug. George was stunned when he heard Lisa had blurted it out. She had to tell George about the human boy she had met. George's eyes widened. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe how attractive Lisa was. A trip out, and found a suitor. George told Lisa, love is not allowed in the House of Darkness. Love is a matter for the elders of the family to decide. They had to keep it a secret. Lisa looked at George and smiled happily. But what Lisa didn't know was that the boy she loved, Ola, her sister, was the head of Van Helsing. Lisa came out onto the deck. She happened to see Lena and Carter, but she forgot to put on her gloves. Once again Lisa's right hand was in trouble. Lisa's hands glowed again. Carter and Lena saw this. Both showed a look of surprise. Lisa saw the image in her mind's eye again, and this time, the great elder Os came to the stone platform. He was holding the knot in the air with both hands. Suddenly, he was on the beach again. Os walked towards Lisa's family and friends. The sky was filled with dark clouds and lightning. All of them bared their fangs at Oz, as if Oz was the enemy. And Oz looked at Lisa with her parents, with a smile on his face. The parents slowly moved away from Lisa. Lisa came to her senses. Tears streamed from the corners of her eyes. And on the side of the great elder OS, he felt something in the corner of his eye. OS was stunned. He had tears streaming down his face. OS wanted to know what was going on. Why was there a girl can get into his head all the time, and now she could make him cry? This gave OS a little fright. Lisa sighed. Her secret had been discovered. She didn't know how to explain it. She rushed inside the cabin, but as soon as she came down, she was taken away by the elders. Lisa is taken into the Grand Master's room. At this time, the school is still investigating who attacked the humans. The Grand Master used the same method as before. After taking measurements, Lisa was a small-mouthed girl of the dark one. The distance between the two teeth, less than the distance between the teeth on the paper. Lisa was also eliminated as a suspect. Next it was Adam's turn. Everyone had to get measured. Lisa went back into the classroom. Carter told her. The bright light on Lisa's hand was called a spark. The family elders had once told Carter. The spark was the curse of the dark ones. It had the power to destroy the whole family. After hearing Carter's story, Lisa was worried again. By this time everyone had been measured and cleared of suspicion. The elders told them. Now on their ship, a man had infiltrated and had gone out and attacked the humans. She told everyone to be careful, to report anything immediately. And then the day's lesson began. The elder had a girl. Come up. Then she lifted up another piece of cloth, and there was a glass enclosure filled with moths. Annie's family's natural ability. It's the ability to control all the animals in the world, the ability to communicate with them, to give them orders, to be their servant. But after Adam had listened, he questioned the day's lesson. The elders saw this and she took him straight to the window. She pulled back the curtains. The sun shone directly on Adam's face. Adam let out a cry of pain. He picked up the big jar, keeping saying something into it. A strange thing happened. The moths followed Annie's orders. The moths were slowly spreading all over the window. They blocked out the sunlight. Looking down at Adam, who was being taught a lesson, the elder looked on with satisfaction. Adam could only return to his seat in disgust, listening to Anne's lecture. But just then, a little mouse appeared on the floor. It was staring at the ruby necklace the elder was wearing around his neck. After class, Lena found Lisa and Carter. She told Lisa something, that she had been to an old cemetery. In it she had seen something incredible. The ancestor of the Dark Elders had awakened, and gave his ruby ring to a woman. She told her to come to the ship and steal the rubies. Curious, Lena followed her, and she found the ship floating on the sea. But when she arrived on the ship, Batgirl had disappeared. Carter asked her why she hadn't told the Grand Master about the Dark Ancestors awakening. And Lena said, who could believe a strange girl's words? Lena told the two men. She had wanted to take the ruby at first too. Lisa hastened to ask, then why did she give up? Lena looked at Lisa and said with affection, it was you. She loved being by Lisa's side. She didn't want to leave Lisa for a second. Lena looked at Lisa and Carter. She decided to make them her friends from now on. A servant came into the Grand Master's room. After making sure the Grand Master and lady were resting, she was about to leave. But behind her Batgirl had been waiting for a long time. Scream came from. George and Lisa rushed in at the sound. The servant lay silent on the table. A bat took the opportunity to slip away. Lisa spotted it. She rushed out as fast as she could. The bat flew away towards the town. Lisa followed closely behind it. She chased the bat into the town. She ran into a small alleyway. Lisa met Ola, and that's when Ola's sister Van Helsing came out too. Luckily she didn't find out who Lisa was. She said hello to Lisa happily. The two of them warmly invited Lisa to come home and have dinner with her. After saying that, her sister Linda dragged Lisa away. When Lisa arrived at Linda's house, there was a table full of items. Lisa felt a sense of panic, but suddenly she noticed in the corner of the table, there was a book that Batgirl had taken from her. But just as Lisa was trying to figure out how to get out, Linda came up to her. She picked up a cross necklace from the table.